I have had a very juicy, powerful journal session today. And I think actually, I don't do it every day. I certainly started, I guess you can say later in life, mainly speaking in regards to, I never used to like journaling because one of the reasons I believe is because I feel like I would write about the same thing over and over and over again and would get annoyed at myself because I would be like, I've written this down once, twice before. Why do I need to keep writing it? Until I realized on days like today that sometimes you really just need to hear something multiple times repetitively until it finally just sticks and lands and you're like, ah, that is exactly, like, I understand now. It's so funny how humans work, how our brains operate and take time to process things, and that we need repetition. We need repetition to really learn and understand something on a level that you can like feel it in your body and it's not just cognitive. And that happened with me today. This is all about information, emotional information, emotional wisdom that I've been processing. And anger, in particular, is simply information that something needs to change. Something needs to change in life. And I don't know what that is for you. I'm slowly and surely and always figuring out what it is for me. Like, I just moved into a new home here, my very own apartment, and that was very necessary because my prior situation made me very, very angry on a level where it was affecting my nervous system, my mental health, my overall well-being. It was not a good physical environment to be in. So I knew I had to make the change to leave. What angers you can be something so much more, I don't know. I hate saying small or big because that's all subjective. That's all perspective. Like, whatever, like anything that is small or big to you could be different to me, right? But you could be angry about something in your life. You can be frustrated with something. You can have this this fire in the pit of your belly, and you don't know why it's there. Most likely it is because something needs to change in your life. Whatever that looks like for you. It could be with relationships. It could be with jobs. It could be with your career. It could be with anything. Maybe you're feeling really, really lonely. Maybe you need to get a cat or a dog. I don't know what that is for you. But anger is information that something needs to change. And if you would indulge me, I was in such a flow, in such a natural flow with my journal entry today that I felt really inspired and felt that it was necessary to come on and share this entry with you today. So, I would like to do that because it really speaks so true to me, to my truth, and what I feel like a lot of people probably need to hear. So yeah, and then we'll just go from there. So thank you for indulging me. Anger is simply information that something needs to change. I've said that like 4 times already. It's probably why I don't like hanging around people who say, I don't like change, because most likely they're always complaining and never do anything about it. Energy vampires, essentially. I know we all know those. People who acknowledge they feel angry own it, and find healthy ways to release it so it doesn't hurt themselves or other people are my kind of people. When we harbor anger, one or two things or both can simultaneously happen. We hurt others by projecting pain onto them foolishly and unnecessarily, and/or we completely cut ourselves out from the world, like I did, using coping mechanisms to dissociate from the pain, essentially hurting ourselves in the process. Neither approach is conducive. Both cause harm. But so many people are angry. I can see it and I feel it everywhere. So why is no one befriending their anger as if it were a perfectly normal part of the human experience? Anger is information that something needs to change. And if you don't allow things to change and evolve in your life, you will inevitably always be mad at something. And holding it in will make you mad in the mental sense. Anger is a sacred emotion, one that, if used intentionally, can breed wisdom that was unclear to see with that anger festering in your body. Multiple things can be true at once. To the extent we suppress our anger and our frustration, we are also suppressing our bliss and our joy. I've been saying this for years, but it's been really landing with me lately. We've been taught to spiritually bypass our way through life, to always act as if everything is just peaches and sunshine and rainbows all the time. Truth is, every time I've allowed myself to feel the anger I was feeling fully and through the body, I have felt more connected to myself and others on the other side. Anger, if felt intentionally, can be transmuted into love. Anger is the most, if not the number one taboo emotion. No one wants to address it, and yet everyone is feeling it. I do strongly believe that if more people worked on themselves to feel and heal their inner anger, that we'd experience less war, less hurt people hurting people. When an army of humans cultivate a war within themselves, they create an army for war in the world. That's not the world I want to live in any longer. So I must feel, heal, and reveal to myself that anger doesn't make me an angry person. It is the connector back to myself, to others, and to my birthright of happiness. Yeah. So there was a lot in there. Yeah, there's a lot in there and a lot of key takeaways. I'd love to know from what you heard in that, what your key takeaway is for you in that, what really landed for you and kind of sparked up that fire in your belly again. But it's so funny, right? Because I think back to when I was in all my younger years in school, in public school, elementary, middle school, high school, I liked history class. History class was interesting. I think it was important to learn about the people and the cultures that have come before us and how that is impacting us today. I absolutely thought learning in history class was necessary. But what I was learning in history, the content of it, I was always so confused and floored over. I truly was so confused. I was that person in class that didn't do well in history class because I didn't understand why there were so many wars. I didn't understand why people always had to go out on the battlefield. Like, it didn't seem like the solution to me. Like, it didn't seem like a reasonable solution to me. It never did. And so, I don't know, maybe like in a sense that because I responded that way, I didn't really pay attention in class. I got bored very easily and I failed on tests because, like, on an emotional, human, heart-based level, none of that shit made sense to me. That we have this long, I mean, like, world history, but like we'd learn about American history, this long American history of people fighting and being at war with each other. And if when you heard in my entry about, like, and this is something I've actually thought about for years, is why? Like, why do people fight? Why do people go so far to create a war? The only obvious reason is because people experience wars within themselves. If you are a peaceful person and you are peaceful within yourself and happy with your life and love who you are and love others, like, well, let's just like focus inward for now. If you love who you are, if you're happy and you're at peace with yourself, there is no reason why you would want to start shit with anyone else. That just wouldn't feel like your nature, you know? So the only obvious reason is that people are really angry and people are really unhappy with who they are, what they've experienced in life, how they feel like their experiences have not been justified. That's one of the big key indicators or causing effects of anger, is that your experience of what hurt you so deeply has not been justified by anyone in your circle, by anyone in your family, by anyone in society. You are not getting justice. And so that anger boils, brews, and explodes out of you as a result. Or rather than, and here's where I was going with, you know, in what I was processing today, is most people will feel the festering, we will feel the boil, we will feel the brew, and then once it's ready to explode, boop, we keep the lid on, and we let it down, suppress, and act like it doesn't have the right to express and release. And that is so much of the problem with anger, because just because you feel angry doesn't mean that you are an angry person. You are simply going through a experience that, and I will justify for you right here and now, that should be justified. Doesn't matter how big or small this thing or these things in your life that have compiled is causing you so much anger. It doesn't matter what it is. Your experience is justified. So I truly believe that when more people do the work on themselves, to work on their inner anger and release it, find healthy ways, find communities that actually do this stuff, that have rage rituals, that support you in punching out a pillow. And you can do this in the privacy of your own room. You can scream out into a river. You can write a letter and burn it. Like, you can do these things. There's breath work for anger, for crying out loud. There are so many tools to release this anger, and yet so many people are either they're just ignorant to it. And here's the thing, though, is some people are aware. Some people are aware that they're very fucking angry. And those people sometimes are not ready to heal it. And that was me. That was me the last 2 to 3 years of my life. I have gone through so many experiences, both personally and professionally, that so much of that has compounded within me over time, that has created so much anger and eventually resentment. And that is such a sad place to be in. I know very well firsthand. I'm speaking on my experience, If you resonate with this, I am holding your hand so tightly right now. Okay, this video is not to shame anyone or make anyone feel guilty. I am literally sharing my story. And if I am being a reflection of you, amazing. You know, maybe you, just gonna turn this light down a little bit. Maybe you are ready to start feeling and healing the anger that you have been experiencing. Just like a lot of things in personal development, I believe that 2 things in particular should not at all costs, should not be rushed in the healing process. And those 2 things are anger and forgiveness. These things need to heal themselves naturally. And everybody heals at their own pace. And I honestly think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that people are different, both in their pain and in their joy. Everyone is unique and everyone is special. And that needs to be embraced, both by yourself and from others. When we can finally soften, I love that word because it really is something that you feel. Softness is something you feel in your body. It is not a mindset thing. It is something you deeply feel. You can literally feel your muscles relax when you can soften your body. And you can come to your anger with more love and compassion and curiosity and trying to understand it and why it's here. That is when true healing happens. So, yeah, I also want to say, I want to end this video because I really don't want to make this too long-winded. But I want to say that anger is necessary. It's very, very necessary and deserves your attention. Because underneath all that anger is true wisdom waiting for you to acknowledge it and live life through and with it. You are so wise. We as humans are so wise, but we clutter that wisdom with all this suppressed and pent up emotion. We're not giving ourselves the beauty and the accessibility to feel and heal it. Everything is a choice, and you get to choose when you are ready, what you're angry about, and finally unburden yourself from that. And I am here to do this with you. I would love to do this together. Even if what we're angry about is different. Doesn't matter, you know? We deserve to heal.